On today's episode of Uncut Gems with Slim.
Make the main thing the main thing. Prioritize your health, because your health literally is what keeps you going to pursue everything that you're pursuing, that just keep you going. That's your baseline. A remote ain't gonna work with no batteries, so you gotta make sure you're fully charged and ready to go. Uncut Gems with Slim, yeah, that's the name. What's up, y'all? It's your girl Slim Reshae, back with another episode. Can y'all believe it's November? Like, it's November. What? It's turkey month. It's Thanksgiving month. Like, the year has been flying by so fast. I hope you guys had a wonderful week last week, and this week is off to a good start. Making sure I don't forget to check in on y'all and ask y'all how y'all doing, how y'all really doing. I'm doing okay. Trying to be proactive, gearing up for year 5 Vlogmas. So I'm super excited about that. So make sure you guys follow my main channel, Slim Reshae, so you don't miss out on this year's Vlogmas. I cannot wait. I'm so excited. Last week we talked about being valid. You're finding your validation in Christ and in who you are, and not seeking outside validation from others. This week we are talking about health is wealth. And this is something that I have struggled with so much recently, just because it takes time to find your balance. And it's like every time you get one thing in balance, or you get your sleep schedule in balance, it's like something else is off. Or you get this in balance, something else is off. And so this week I wanted to talk about your health coming first. And that includes simple things like proper eating, proper sleeping habits, and things like that to help you make the main thing the main thing. Prioritize your health, because your health literally is what keeps you going to pursue everything that you're pursuing, that just keep you going. That's your baseline. A remote ain't gonna work with no batteries, so you gotta make sure you're fully charged and ready to go. And so I want to talk about 2 things that I have struggled with, or I have not mastered as far as getting it in balance. And the first thing is like my eating habits. So your eating habits are going to vary based on your needs, whether it be a certain dietary guideline that you go by, or just certain things that you integrate in your eating habits, as far as your eating habits, to make sure that you're healthy. And for me, my annual appointment this year, my doctor told me that I was slightly underweight, and currently I am still underweight. And I was like, oh, what I mean? Like, that's not good. And so she was just like, it's not anything alarming, but I do recommend trying to gain like 3, 4 or 5 pounds, because I'm underweight for my height in my age. And so that was like a reality check, because I knew my eating habits weren't they weren't the healthiest. And so it was a reality check for me to be like, okay, this is something I really need to focus on, because you don't want to wait till you get older and then like the doctor be like, oh, you got this, you got that, you got to take all these pills because you ain't been taking care of your body in your young age. And so for me, like, when I eat, and I don't have no eating disorder or none of that, let me just be clear, because I don't want to discredit anyone who experiences eating disorders, but for some reason, I used to be able to eat like a lot of food in one sitting. And as I've gotten older, it's gotten to the point where like I can eat half of my meal and it will fill me up. And so I don't force feed myself. Like, once I'm full, I'm like, okay, I ain't gonna eat no more. I'll save the rest for later. Like, if I get a Chipotle bowl, unless I'm like really hungry or haven't ate nothing all day, typically I eat half of my Chipotle bowl and then I eat the other half the next day, just because like by the time I eat half the bowl, like I feel full. And so I usually finish like half of my meal at each sitting. Because of that, I've learned to eat smaller meals but more often. And one of the things that the doctor said was to try, instead of trying to eat big meals, like 3 hearty meals throughout the day, try to eat like maybe 5, 6 to 8 small meals, 5, 6 to 8, something like that. Between 5 and 8, it was one of the in there somewhere. Small meals throughout the day. And one thing that I realized that helped me, and if you're underweight or trying to get a consistent, like, do better with your eating habits, this is why I'm sharing this information with you. So one thing that I've learned that's helped me a lot is to eat those smaller meals, but eat when I'm hungry. So sometimes you'll go to work, right? Say you get a Pop-Tart at 8 o'clock. You get to work, and then about 10 o'clock, you be like, I'm kind of hungry. And then typically for me, I used to wait until like 12 noontime, lunchtime to get food or to feed myself or whatever. And I realized that would throw off my hunger, because by the time I prolong me eating, instead of just eating at like 10 or 10:30, whatever, by the time I get to 12, it's like my hunger goes away, even though I haven't ate anything to satisfy that hunger, if that makes sense. So then like you go without eating for a longer period of time just because you're trying to eat at breakfast, lunch, and, your traditional dinner times.
Real quick, I just wanted to take a moment and pause and ask, are you subscribed? Make sure you subscribe to us on all podcast streaming platforms and check out the visual on YouTube at Uncut Gems with Slim. Lastly, don't forget we are also on Instagram. Follow us on Insta to get motivational snippets, episode highlights, and so much more. Now, let's get back to today's episode.
And so, like I said, what I started to do is to eat my meals when I get hungry. So I might have like a Pop-Tart at 8, and then at like 10, I might go ahead and grab lunch early, or I might have a snack or like a fruit or something like that. Then I'll probably try out a later lunch. So maybe 1 or 2 o'clock, I'll grab me something else to eat. And then by about 3, 4 o'clock before I leave from work, it'll be snack time again. And then once I get home, I like probably eat a snack and then eat a later dinner, which I should flip-flop because you shouldn't eat super late at night. It's not good, supposedly, for your digestive system. That's what they say. And so, so like I said, if I'm craving lunch at 10:30, instead of postponing my meal until noon, I'm going to go ahead and eat when it comes to how I do my eating habits. And then the other thing that I have struggled with is getting an ample amount of sleep. Now, through COVID and through me putting my foot down and just not allowing people to, waste my time or not allowing me to overwork myself, I have created a great balance of, if I am sleepy, I'm going to take a nap or I'm going to go to sleep. Now, I do need to adjust my sleep schedule because I need to wake up a little bit earlier, which in turn means I need to go to bed a little bit earlier. But I have done really well as far as me taking naps when I need them, or adjusting my sleep schedule and things like that to make sure that I am replenishing my body by getting some sleep. I love my sleep, if y'all don't know. And so I wanted to share something that one of my good friends shared with me a while back. Leslie Latrice, we used to have a accountability partner situation when it came to creating content. And she told me that one thing that she did to help with her time management throughout the day is that she would set timers, right? And so she was like, she'll set a timer while she's working, so it allows her to allocate a certain amount of time to do a certain thing. So as I'm recording this podcast, I'm nearing 10 minutes in real time. And I know that I don't want to exceed 20 minutes on the podcast, but altogether, say if I allotted myself 30 minutes, I would set a timer at 30 minutes and hit start. So I know if that alarm goes off, that I should be complete with that task. And she said she would do it when it comes to editing, because for me, when I edit my content, I like to finish the entire thing. So I'll just keep going. I might take breaks and things like that. But if you work almost as if you have a deadline to do it, so if I'm like, okay, I only have an hour to complete this, you're going to lock in a little bit more, and you're going to make sure you're knee deep trying to get that thing done before that timer goes off. Not only does it help you allocate how much time you want to dedicate to one thing, but it also helps you kind of figure out how long it takes you to do certain things. So for me, it might be editing, but for you, it might be working out. It might be, I don't know, homework. It could be any specific task, and you could just start out being like, okay, I'm going to take an hour to edit. I'm going to take an hour to do this homework, right? You do it, say the alarm goes off, and you're like, almost done, but you're not done, and you want to be able to finish it within your allotted time, to go ahead and adjust that time to like an hour and 15 minutes or an hour and 30 minutes. And that's how long on average it'll take you to do a specific thing. And the more and more you use that set timer to do those things, you'll start working faster or conditioning yourself from that consistency to be able to do that certain thing in that amount of time. Hopefully that all makes sense. But I thought it was really interesting and really a good idea that she shared with me, because since I've started doing that, I've been able to become more cognizant of how much time it takes me to complete a task. And so sometimes I'll even set a timer for when I sit down to eat. And I say that because it's easy to get engulfed in a TV show and making your dinner last an hour long, when really you could have finished eating in like 20 minutes and then use that other 40 minutes to be productive. So I feel like using this timer method can help you be more productive with your time. Make sure you're allocating specific amount of time. Or say if you like, right now I'm binge watching Grey's Anatomy. Y'all know this. I might be done or up to speed. I will be up to speed before you guys view this episode. But I will watch Grey's all throughout the day, okay? Which is why I try not to binge watch episodes often, because I'm not as productive. And so you have to put a limit on yourself where you're like, okay, I'm only going to watch 2 episodes a day, right? So that gives you like an hour and 30 minutes of TV time, watch time. So you have to limit yourself, because if you don't, you'll wind up watching a half a season, 10 episodes. That's almost 10 hours out of your day that you done wasted watching TV, when you could have spread it out over 5 days, gotten a lot more work done, and, still be able to take in your TV shows. So like I said, I really like the timer method, because it helps me stay on track and not lose track of time, because I feel like we do that a lot. Like, you come home, you go tinkle when you get home, because you always have to go tinkle when you get home. Your body just know you be close to your personal toilet. And so you go tinkle and you take your phone with you. Next thing you know, you got home at 5:30. It's 6:15 and you still sitting on the toilet fiddling with your phone, because you just engulfed in that, and you ain't realize you done waste 45 minutes when you just went in there to tinkle, which take you less than 2 minutes. And so, like I said, that's one thing that I really enjoyed, because time management is essential to achieving your real life goals. Like, it is so essential. You have to be intentional with your time and be disciplined. And being disciplined is not easy. It is definitely easier said than done, but it's possible. So with that being said, I told you guys how I kind of have worked on facilitating better eating habits for myself. And then the other thing I wanted to share with you guys are just different ways to help you set great sleep boundaries. So number one, don't charge your phone in the bedroom. I know that sounds absurd, but I used to try and think, or I would think back to when I was in high school, and I was like, you know what? How did I wake up so early to get dressed, eat breakfast, and be outside ready waiting on the bus? And I was like, you know what? Back then, I used to like power down my phone every night before I go to bed, and because I didn't think you were supposed to charge it while it was on. So I used to power down my phone every night before bed, and I had an actual alarm clock. And so that at that time, I'm pretty sure the alarm clock only snoozed like once or twice. I don't remember. But the alarm clock would wake me up, and I would just get up. And another good thing about not charging your phone in your room is because you won't have access to it. So when you get into bed at night, your phone not right beside you for you to pick it up and be scrolling until you get sleepy, versus you just getting into bed and falling asleep. You scrolling till midnight just because your phone is easy access to you. So that's one pro of charging your phone in another room outside the bedroom. I know you might not be able to power down your phone if you don't have a house phone, because most people don't. But maybe turning your volume medium, so if someone did need to get in contact with you while you were asleep, you could still hear it from another room. Option number 2 is getting an actual alarm clock. And not only getting an alarm clock, because I tried this myself, but I still hit snooze. Placing that alarm clock across the room or anywhere other than your nightstand. Because if you lack discipline in that area, in which I lack discipline in that area, when that alarm goes off, and say if it's on the other side of the room, you're more likely to be able to like wake up and get up if you have to get out your bed to turn that alarm clock off, versus just laying over, hitting the snooze, and going back to sleep. So that's something that I realized that helps a lot when it comes to great sleep boundaries. And then last but not least, like I said earlier, nap when needed. If you get home from a long day of work and you are just like struggling, like right now, when I go home after a long day of filming, I am going to take me a nap, because a nap is needed. I'm sure y'all can see my under eye bags a little bit. But when you nap, set that timer. And so for me, my Apple Watch, I have an Apple Watch, and I like setting the timer on it, because for some reason I can snooze my phone timer and not even notice that I snooze it and go back to sleep. But for some reason, when that watch vibrates on my wrist, like I get up immediately as soon as the timer starts going off. And so set that timer, take your nap, but set a timer where it's not like you sleeping over an hour, because then you're going to be in a deep sleep and you're going to wake up more tired than you was before. So just make sure you're doing a smooth, 30 minutes, 40 is pushing it. But just do you a quick little nappy nap before you get in your deep sleep. And so you'll wake up a little bit more refreshed so you can power through the rest of your day. So those are 3 sleep tips I have. If y'all have any tips about putting on weight, I know a lot of people have recommended protein for me. Right now, I'm just trying to get in a steady eating schedule where I'm eating a set amount of meals a day so I can maintain my weight, because my weight has always like fluctuated. I could be like 116 one day, the next day I'll be like 112, and it's always bouncing around in that area. Right now, probably average 114 on a daily, and we're trying to get to like 118, 120. Like I said, I know they recommend like doing protein shakes and stuff like that, but I really just like food. I'm not a huge like shake maker unless it's like a tropical smoothie shake. Like I don't be doing all that. And then as far as like, I don't eat a lot of things, which is a part of my struggle. Like I don't like peanut butter, because people always recommend doing like PB&Js. I don't eat peanut butter. I don't eat no kind of beans unless they like string beans. I don't eat fish or seafood or any of that. So it's really just like a chicken and steak diet with potatoes and some sort of veggie. I love dairy and I love starches, and it's just not giving diet. I'm trying to get Julian, our nutritionist, to make me a like a nutrition eating guide or whatever. so he can help me out. But anyway, if you guys have any recommendations that have helped you put on a few pounds, please comment below and let me know. If you have any suggestions for how to lose a few pounds, if anyone watching is in a predicament where they're overweight and they're trying to lose some, feel free to drop that in the comments as well, because we are a community to help each other. So if you have any tips and tricks on building better sleeping habits, better eating habits, comment that down below. I love you guys so very much. We're over 20 minutes right now, which means it's time to wrap. I love you guys so very much. Thank you for tuning in this week. Remember, your health is wealth. The whole point of today's episode was just to bring awareness to your health and reminding you guys to prioritize it, because you aren't going to be good for anyone else or yourself if your health isn't in check. So make sure you guys do all that you can to be the healthiest version of yourself. I love y'all so much. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you follow us on Instagram at Uncut Gems with Slim, and subscribe to us on YouTube and all podcast streaming platforms. I love y'all so very much. Thank you guys for tuning in, and until next week. When you're back, when you need to find your purpose, come this way. Uncut Chapter.